So starting today, every week I will make one videos addressing some transit issues in Toronto. And why do this? Because I want to be an urban planner in the future, and transit is an important thing we need to think about it. And many city government and many city planning department really don't put their attention, their effort on creating a great transit experience to the customers. I don't know why. These kind of situations happen a lot in many North American cities. And North American cities seems don't want to spend too much funds, money, and time on thinking about building a great transit system. And I would say that transit is a really important thing. It's like the blood of the city. It connects people from one place to another, and it transports so many people from one place to another. That is why it's called blood of the cities. And if you think about which city have the best transit system in the world, it's probably most of the Asian city, like Japan, like Tokyo, like Osaka, like Hong Kong, like China in Beijing, Shanghai. We have amazing transit system, a huge transit networks. And if you take a look at many cities in North America, I'm probably gonna say excluded New York, other cities in North America, their transit system is not that cool, it's not that advanced, and it's not that great. And that is why I want to talk about that. And starting today, I will make one video every week on addressing some minor or big issues in our transit system. And I will focusing on Toronto because I live in Toronto for a very long time and I'm more familiar with it. So we will take a look at what things goes wrong in Toronto Transit, how things goes wrong in Toronto Transit. And you might find similar issues in your cities or in your own countries. So let's take a look. So today I want to start with one minor issues here. But it will have a really huge impact on the customer's experience of the transit system. So let's take a look. So if you go into a subway station and waiting for a train to arrive, what are the things you value the most? And for me personally, and for majority of people I guess, it's probably when is your next train gonna arrive? They want to know that. When is your next train gonna arrive? And usually can found a display or a TV or screens in the subway station that said the next train is arriving in like how many minutes, shows you that, these kind of real-time information. And people really, it really matters because people really want to know that information clearly displayed on the screen. So let's take a look at how Toronto do with this display. So here it is. Take a close look at the Toronto Transit System display. Did you see any issues here? Well, you definitely see, you can see the next train, a red bar at the very bottom. And there's like a 5 minutes which shows the time on the right bottom corner. And what is the majority of screens covered by? The time, the weather, the news, the advertisements, these kind of stuff. Okay, so it might sound good, but let's take a look at how other cities do. Let's take a look at how Hong Kong do with the next trains, these kind of real-time information. It's just a very huge display which showcases the destination of the next train and the time of the next train when gonna arrive, and there's a big clock beside that. It's very clear, very nice, no other informations right there. Everything is very clear to present to the passengers. Okay, let's take a look at another Chinese city, which is my hometown, and how it looks in China. So you see, it's kind of similar as Toronto. It do have a TV which may showcase some news, some information on the right side. But let's just see at the left side. There's time at the bottom left, on the top left, and the time, which is the next train information, is just huge. It's showcased like 3 minutes. It's very clear, very easy for the passengers to read it. Very easy for the passengers to know that. It's super awesome. Did you see any issues here? So let's take it back. When you're waiting on the platform, there's usually only 1 or 2 TV or displays at a platform, right? And if people's like waiting for a train at the very far end of the platform, very far end from the platform, it's very hard for them to look at the next train information if you put it at the bottom right corner like this. It's very hard for them to know when the next train is going to arrive. They have to walk closer and take a look at it and maybe go back. It's not nice. It's not a great customer experience. You have to let this information bigger, much clearer to the passengers so they can know it from this end of the platform to that end of the platform. Everywhere. They can get a closer look at the information they needed the most. I mean, probably the time, the weather is really useful information, but if you're waiting for the subway, actually the most needed information for passenger is just when's the next train gonna arrive. Probably the news, that kind of stuff is important, but you have to know what is the most important things you want to put in the display. You have to know what is the intention of putting display on there, putting a display, putting a screen in the subway station. It's providing real-time information of next train vehicle arriving information to the passengers. And putting your most important information at the right bottom corner is just not a great idea. If you take a look at Hong Kong, very nice, very clear, there's nothing wrong, super awesome. It just shows the thing that passengers needed most. You have to understand, as a transit department, you have to know which kind of information is passengers most wanted, most needed. You cannot put something that is less useful information at the very center and putting your most important information at the bottom corner. That is a poor customer experience. So, for the Toronto Transit Commission, for the Toronto Transit Department, please fix these issues. Putting advertisement, putting weather, putting time, it's good. But you need to know which part of the information is most important. Make it big, make it huge, make it clear, make it obvious. And that is providing a great customer experience to the passengers. Know what the passengers wanted. You have to understand what passengers really need, really want at the time that they're waiting for the subway. It's when the next train is going to arrive. If you put it at the bottom right corner, it's not going to solve anything. It's not going to solve anything. People at the foreign platform will be wondering, when's their train going to arrive? And that's not good. So please, Toronto Transit Commission, fix these issues. Fix these issues. And that's it for what I'm going to talk about today. So this only be the first episode of the transit issues here in Toronto. And I will talk about more about transit probably next week. Sometimes next week. I don't know. So thank you for watching. And have a great day, everyone. Bye.